Probably the saddest thing that I and the hundreds of families who developed these birthing better skills starting around 1972 was this division that started to occur. It was the Mommy Wars of Childbirth. When I gave birth in 1970 in the United States, we were all birthing in the hospital. We had the standards of care, the assessments, the monitoring and procedures that are now all called interventions. We expected those things, and we were sort of glad. Prior to the Second World War, we didn't have that type of medical care, and birth has always been very challenging around the world. Don't have a misperception of that. Pregnancy and childbirth and the newborn period has always been very challenging to all societies. Just think of it. Antibiotics and immunizations, regardless of what you think of vaccinations, they weren't around until well after the Second World War. If you go to any cemetery around the world, we lost around the world, all cultures, all societies lost between 25 and 30% of all of our children before the age of 5. So the global population isn't expanding because we're having more babies. The global population is expanding because fewer people are dying from things that people died from. And the medical care was a response to that. We don't necessarily have to like all the types of medical care. I certainly don't. And I choose from my family what we use and we don't use. But I do despair is the Mommy Wars about birth. 100% of pregnant women will give birth one way or another. It's an infrequent thing. It's a one-off thing we can't replay the next day. We should be valuing every baby's birth. We should not be hearing women talk to each other in this manner. I had a home birth. You had a hospital birth. Or you read everything and ended up with a cesarean. I read nothing and trusted and I ended up with a vaginal birth. We shouldn't do this. But we do it about breastfeeding. We do it about whether we stay at home with our kids or send them to daycare. Women are absolutely mean to each other. This is just a terrible thing, terrible, terrible thing, and we have to stop it. This lesson is all about different types of birth. Fact is, from a birthing better viewpoint, doesn't matter. It's our baby's birth, and we use skills for our baby's birth. It may unfold exactly the way we imagined, unlikely, or it may unfold entirely different than we wanted, probably, but the fact is it's our baby's birth. Read the resource that is most like the birth you'd like, and then read the resource of the birth that you do not want. And then we hope you will come to an understanding as you join the Birthing Better family to realize however your baby's birth unfolds, it's your responsibility, it's your privilege, it's your right, it's your amazing quality of being skilled that will help you work through your baby's birth journey, no matter where you birth this baby. And if your partner has the skills, they will take this journey with you as skilled adults. And that means that when your baby is born, you will meet the challenges of having a new baby come into your life, whether it's your first or your 20th. That's the reality of it. Skills matter. Just use your skills. And Birthing Better families, they're coming out my mouth when I'm saying this to you. We committed to using our skills no matter the type of birth that unfolded for us. Whether we hated it or loved it, we used our skills, and that empowered us. We are an amazing, empowered group of tens of thousands of families who stopped the mommy wars around birth.